Oh, come on.
Has this ever been you?
What the?
You go out on a ride and your drivetrain is completely out of whack.
You piece of sh. Oh, come on.
But the last time you rode, it was fine. So you start twisting screws and adjusters and you make it even worse. I know. I've done it too.
Ah, this sucks.
Hopefully, you can learn from my mistakes. This is not going to be a derailleur adjustment video. It's going to be the top things that I've found when you're out on the trail and your derailleur starts shifting poorly out of nowhere. So rather than start messing with barrel adjusters or limit screws, do these couple things first to rule out the most obvious things that are the easiest to fix. So I know everybody checks every bolt and nut before they ride, but one time I found that my axle bolt was loose. And every time I would push really hard on the pedals, the wheel would shift. And I chased that thing for 20 minutes before I realized my axle was loose. So make sure that the wheel is seated in the frame and that the axle is snug. So next you want to check just the overall condition of your derailleur. If you haven't wrecked and there's not obvious damage to it, then just take your bike tool that you brought, and right here is inside of here's the bolt that attaches the derailleur to the derailleur hanger. So just go ahead and make sure that it's snug. So now you just want to get a good look sighting down through the jockey wheels onto the cassette to see if it looks straight. If you really can't tell, if you have a clutch, you might want to engage that, which gives you a little better sight picture to see if it's straight or not. If it's a little bit bent, chances are it's bent inwards, because generally something hits this and contacts it. So you can go ahead and just in the field just eyeball it and pull this thing back out. These are the most obvious things I've found if you haven't been in a wreck. Now, if you did crash and all of a sudden the bike's shifting very, very poorly, you probably have some damage. You might have damaged the derailleur, the cage here. You might have damaged something inside. You could have damage to your chain. So it's also good to give a real good look at the chain to see if you have any sticking or bent links. I know this is a video on how to fix a poorly shifting derailleur on the trail, and hopefully the tips I just gave you would help to get you off the trail and back to the trailhead without completely destroying your cassette in the process. But if you had to do like I did and kind of bend the derailleur itself to get the line up, because for some reason it was bent in toward the wheel. I don't know if it was from how I transported it, who knows. But when you get home, you need to figure out whether it's the derailleur hanger that was bent or if the cage on the derailleur was bent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal an idea from RJ the Bike Guy, and I know you've seen his videos. I can watch his videos all day long. The guy is entertaining and incredibly knowledgeable. And he came up with a DIY derailleur hanger alignment tool that for about 25 bucks, you can completely fix and straighten a bent derailleur, and it's awesome. So I'll include a link to RJ's video at the end of this one so you can get a better idea of the step-by-step process. But I'm going to show you a really quick overview on what goes into it so you can figure out if you want to build one for yourself. You'll need a 16-inch long piece of 3/4-inch square tubing and an M10 bolt with 1.0 threads, 50 millimeters long. You'll also need 2 nuts, 5 washers, and a good ruler. Use a 10mm drill bit in a drill press to drill through the tubing. I couldn't find one, so I'm using a 25/64" bit. Sand the burrs from the holes and grease both sides. Insert the bolt and one washer through the tube, and then 4 washers and a nut. Tighten it and check for free play and to see that it'll still turn. Tighten the second nut against the first one and recheck rotation. Remove the derailleur and carefully thread the tool onto the hanger. Go slow. The hanger is soft and it's easy to strip the fine threads. Using the valve stem as a reference, measure the distance at 6 and 12 o'clock. If they're within 3 millimeters, it's okay. I always rotate the tool clockwise so it won't unscrew from the hanger. Next, check 3 and 9 o'clock. Mine is out, so I'm using the tool to pull and push it straight. Just take your time. Now is a good time to check your limit adjusting and indexing. Let me know if I missed something. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're like me and just refuse to act your age, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.